All right, we're back here on the two-man power trip of wrestling, and this is an interview we've been trying to get set down for a long time, and I can't believe I'm still talking to him, even after seeing you in North Carolina in November, but I got to welcome in the one and only Barry Windham. Barry, thanks for coming on.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, Barry. You know, we've been seeing the love for the Horsemen lately. There seems like there's this renaissance of Horsemen nostalgia as of late, and I got to say, we're in Philadelphia as we speak. Was Philadelphia a Horseman town?
Yeah, it absolutely was. It was one of our favorite towns. It was a real heel town, and we all enjoyed working in Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia fans are obviously some of the most passionate, most knowledgeable, and some of the maybe the most critical fans you could possibly find. Maybe even the smartest, too. Was Philly a tough city to work in?
Well, it wasn't for me, because of the style that I worked, but I've seen guys have problems working for the Philly crowds. You just have to work snug and make everything believable.
And, of course, Philadelphia for the WWF was a huge stop for you guys. You're here every month, so obviously they already had a little bit of a knowledge for you when you started coming through with the Horsemen. But was the WWF fan different than the NWA fan in Philly?
Of course, they were always different crowds, but, there were some fans that were the same, but different audiences, a lot younger crowd here with WWE.
Yeah, and the WWF obviously was appealing to a certain fan base, and the NWA was appealing to a different fan base too. But whether it was WWF or NWA, did you feel like when you stepped through the ropes in Philly that you had to perform a little bit different because the fans are a little more in tune as to what's going on?
Well, whenever you knew you had to work, like I said, just the way that I worked, it was never a problem. But for some guys, it was.
Is there any matches that stand out to you from Philadelphia that I know you guys believe you lost the tag team championship with you and Rotundo here? Is there any matches that stand out in Philly?
I've been here so much that it's just I've been coming to Philly and wrestling since 83 or 84 was my first time up here. And when my dad was in the business, I traveled with him to Philadelphia. So it's just it's just a part of me and a part of my blood.
And you talk about your dad, obviously the great Blackjack Mulligan, another guy who, no matter where he was, the big Blackjack was always a feared guy, and he always had something a little bit more to add to a card. What did you learn from your dad?
Well, when I traveled with my dad, we talked ring psychology, selling, just how to work. He always wanted me to work a little snugger, a little heavier than I did because I guess I was kind of light. I learned a lot from him.
He's a guy that, he's kind of morphed in one of those mythical figures that we always hear about that they don't make anymore. They don't make anybody like your dad. Did you feel in the backstage area the respect from all the other guys for your dad?
Oh, yeah, I always have my entire career. That's just how wrestling is. Most guys, respect their peers and their elders. There's been a few, for the most part.
Absolutely. And you think your dad, in his day, obviously I know they had some more, as him and Andre, you think that your dad and Andre, if given the huge platform like a WrestleMania, that two of them, could they tear the house down with a massive, massive brawl?
I never saw them work, but I know that my old man worked with Andre a whole lot. And, he enjoyed working with Andre. I think Andre enjoyed working with him. As far as the dynamics of the match, it'll be really exciting to watch.
Absolutely. Because somebody's going to slam Andre. Obviously, the big Blackjack's going to be right up there. And I believe he's one of the few that could say he actually did slam Andre, right?
I don't know that. We'll have to research that.
I believe there is footage. I want to say there is. Well, hold me to this if I'm incorrect, but I believe he did slam Andre once or twice. Now, here's the question. Obviously, if you were to get in there with Andre, what would it take for Barry Windham to take out the big man and get him up and drop him for a slam?
I was always Andre's partner, so I never worked against him.
We have seen the turns. We've seen the double crosses. If you were going to work against Andre, how would you get him up?
I would have to beat him with a 2x4.
And from behind, of course.
Yeah.
here with Barry Windham, one of the greatest workers of all time, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Obviously, the Four Horsemen is special. What do you think it is about the Four Horsemen so special? But it was your group specifically, because when you look at it, everyone always says the original is better, but except for the Four Horsemen. So you got Ole, Arn, Tully, and Flair in the original, and they don't say that's the best one. They say it's Barry, Arn, Tully, and Flair. So what is it about your group before that the people say the original isn't the best?
Well, it was just our work rate and the way that we all gelled and worked together. You know, Ole was, you know, he was always right there. You know, he was slow and methodical. The Horsemen had just evolved, you know, over the few years since Ole had been there, and we were more, you know, more quick and just a better study. I mean, it was. To be a part of that team was, you know, it was the highlight of my career. But you have to be at a certain point in your career where you can be a Horseman, and you know, it's either body or talent. And I guess I had enough talent to do it.
You were such a great worker. Nothing against Ole saying that he's not or anything, but it's just that you were such a great worker, just unbelievable. And then Flair, and then Tully, and then Arn, and it's almost like, man, these four guys are the best workers in the company together. Did you guys truly believe you were the best at that point, as far as work rate-wise, and being able to basically tear down the house every night?
Well, I don't know if we labeled ourselves, you know, as the best workers, but that was always our goal, to go out there and try to have the best match that we could, you know, the most believable and the best. And that's what we did usually.
Now, you obviously have held many titles, U.S. title, NWA World title. Do titles mean a lot to you, you know, in the essence of the thing? Like me as a fan, titles always meant a lot. But as you, the wrestler, did it mean a lot to be the NWA World Champion, U.S. Champion, Tag Champ, things like that?
Well, when I started, I set out a goal to be the NWA Heavyweight Champion. And, you know, after I had attained that, it had kind of lost its luster. But, you know, it's just it's like resting on your laurels, you know, if you put too much weight on those belts. So, you know, you have to go out there and work your ass off every night, and that's what we did.
Now, when you were going after Flair and you guys were having, in the mid to late 80s, having 5-star matches, whether it be in the NWA, whether it be in Florida, whether it be part of the Great American Bash Tour or wherever, and you guys are tearing it down, at that point, did you think, like, okay, now I'm going to be the anointed one, I should probably be the next NWA World Champion?
No, it was those decisions at that time, you know, were made out in St. Louis and Kansas City by Bob Geigel and the NWA, and Jim Crockett was on the board too. And you know, I was in line to be the champion. It's just you know, with Flair leaving, going to WWE, and you know, there were just different things. And also there was a time when I didn't want the title, so you know, when I finally did get it, then I had my knee blown out. So you know, it was just. Anyway, it just lacked a little bit for me, but it was still, you know, I guess, you know, a feather in my cap.
Unbelievable. One of the great workers finally got to say, you know, NWA World Champion or World Champion. You were so great. But going back to the 80s, you and Flair, I can't even believe, like, you know, they say 5-star match, or Dave Meltzer say 5-star match, which is basically a perfect match. Can you even describe the chemistry that you and Flair were able to have then, whether it be Florida or whether it be in the NWA? Somehow, you know, you guys were able to just literally gel to where somebody, you know, of high stature can say it's the most perfect match he's ever seen.
Well, I mean, Rick and I just had the chemistry, and I've known Rick, you know, since I was a little kid, and I've always been around him, you know. So you just learn somebody, and you get to know who they are. You know, we never talked over our matches at all. We just went in there and went at it, and you know, that was the end result.
Such amazing matches. You know, they say, oh, you go back and you watch matches, it holds up. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's one of those great things. People say Flair Steamboat. I say Flair Windham. It's just as great. You guys had such great chemistry. Do you get a lot of fans, like when you're at conventions like this, and that a lot of people talk to you about the Flair matches or the Horsemen, or what are they talking to you most about?
You know, usually they mention the Flair matches, you know, an hour on TV, but, you know, Rick and I went an hour through and an hour and a half through all over the country. So it was just, it was just a television event that people remember, but we did it all over the place.
Now, obviously, the Four Horsemen that I said is the best. You, Arn, Tully, Flair. You get JJ in the mix as well. Do you agree that that's the greatest horseman of all time?
Yes, absolutely.
Thinking of some other horsemen that you were in, some other incarnates, technically Kendall was a horseman at one point. Technically Sting a little bit at one point, Sid. Do you consider those guys horsemen, consider the group, or do you almost consider it a little bit watered down at that point where they were trying to recreate what you guys had created originally?
Once you're a horseman, you're a horseman. So, I mean, whether Flair was in it or JJ or Arn and Tully or me, it was just, the idea belonged to the promotion and it was theirs. So, yeah, there's other horsemen out there.
Very, very true. Now, horsemen are unbelievable. They're awesome. But specifically with you and your career, this might be impossible to narrow it down. But when you go back and let's say you want to watch tapes or show, the kids and the grandkids and stuff like that, do you have favorite matches or even maybe a couple or a favorite match that you say, oh, this is the one, if you want to watch Barry Windham, this is the one you need to watch?
I haven't gotten there in my career yet, but I'm sure it'll come. I've already started saving some on YouTube, but I haven't watched them, so it's coming.
Nice. Now, opponent-wise, obviously you got the Flairs of the world, the Lugers, the Mudas. I mean, literally the Dusties. You've worked with anybody who's anybody in wrestling. Do you have some favorite opponents throughout your career?
I always liked working with Dick Murdoch. I liked working with Dustin. Of course, Steamboat and Rick. Ricky and Robert Morton. The U.S. Express. They were great to work with. It was just, there in the 80s at Jim Crockett Promotions, we had a heck of a squad. And, yeah, there was just every night, no matter who you worked with, you could have a hell of a match.
Now, quickly on Dustin, you guys had such amazing chemistry against each other in a tag team. Was it because you're both, sons of really legendary wrestling figures that could possibly be, of the all-time greats? Was it easy to connect with him because of your fathers?
I love Dustin like a brother, and even though I haven't talked to him in a couple of years now, but he's just. It was just one of those things. We just clicked whenever we were in the ring. And, I would always lead the match, and he would listen. And I just really can't think of any bad ones that we had. But, Dustin is just so talented anyway that, it's easy to work with him anyway. So it's just one of those things, just easy to work with people.
Now, it's funny, when you were younger, I didn't realize that you were Blackjack's son because you guys look nothing alike. But now as you start to get older, I feel like, you look just like your dad, just like Blackjack. Do you get that a lot from, maybe even some of your contemporaries and some of the older people, like, wow, you look so much like your dad? Yeah,
I get it from all the guys all the time, especially the older ones. But, yeah, I'm definitely his son.
Yep. Oh, there's no doubt about that. Now, through your career, so many legendary moments, so many legendary things. Your dad, obviously one of the best, one of the greatest draws of all time if you really look at it and all the business he did. Looking back, what do you think is the lasting legacy on not just Barry Windham, but even Kendall and Blackjack Mulligan? What do you think is the legacy of your family, the great workers and the great draws that you guys were?
Honestly, I don't know. It's we all had our own style of work in the ring. We're known for different things, but as a family, we've got the Rotundos in it and our family. So it's just as far as legacy goes, it's a legacy name, the Windham and Mulligan name. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Now I know you're a little bit reclusive now. Is it very hard to get in touch with you? Are you doing a lot of hunting, fishing, and kind of off the grid a little bit down there?
Yeah, whenever I can, and I build old cars and motorcycles too, so keeps me busy.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time, and you are a true legend and one of the greatest workers of all time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, let's pause for 1 second and remind you that today's episode is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Eat Your Coffee. Eat Your Coffee is a coffee company that was founded by coffee-deprived college students that pioneered a new category in caffeinated natural snacks. The company's first product line, Eat Your Coffee bars, are a date-based snack bar caffeinated with fair trade coffee, which would be comparable to 1 cup, and made with real ingredients so you can feel good with every energizing bite. Eat Your Coffee snack bars are non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, kosher, 70% organic, and available in 3 delicious flavors, including fudgy mocha latte, salted caramel macchiato, and peanut butter mocha, my personal favorite. Now that is an energizing combination because they are on a mission to help get people energized with naturally caffeinated snacks made with real, ethically sourced ingredients. So if you want more information, head on over to www.eatyour.coffee, as well as follow them on Instagram, follow them on Facebook, follow them on Pinterest, and follow them on Twitter, and get all the information on how you can energize the moment with Eat Your Coffee bars.